wish we visited with us. I urge you, two things on that, and then I'll get to my question. Two things. Please meet with your constituents when there is a contentious issue. Count on us to be civil. I can be civil. I am civil. I'm a gentleman, and I'm pretty good, and I know you are too. And I'm glad that you told us it's dead for now. When we talk about it again, I just want to encourage you to be a national leader, and you can do that. Join the Tuesday group, the problem solvers. Go over there and say, I'm from 3rd District, Alabama. We've got a lot of unhappy people out health care. Let's work with the Democrats and let's make this thing better. I urge you to consider that. And my question is this, and thank you for allowing me to say that, because a lot of people here care about health care, and that was my 2 bits of love. I love my family the same way you love yours. I don't want my kids on the street. My concern beyond that is more than anything else, is President Trump's public behavior, the way he behaves publicly. The President of the United States has, as you know, I'm sure you know this, he openly mocked a disabled person in a speech. He encouraged people at his rallies to punch him out and I'll pay for your legal fees. He said horrible things about women, privately but also publicly. Misogynistic things that you would not have him say about your wife or your daughter. He insulted, I don't know, I can't do anything about that. Just a couple more things. He insulted a war hero, John McCain, and said he's not a hero because he got captured. Y'all remember that? He never apologized for it. John McCain is my hero.
Just a minute, please. If you would direct
it
to the congressman.
All right, I will. Okay, so I'm almost finished. So he's done a lot of offensive things, and he tweets in the night, and we can't seem to stop it. It's extremely unprecedented. I've never in my lifetime seen a president who has not been a gentleman.
What's your question?
Until this one. He is not. So here's my question.
Glasgow,
Glasgow, you shut up. Glasgow. Somebody yelling at me from the back. I'm asking my question right now.
Ask your question, but tell the audience. If this occurs again, I'll stop the meeting until order and ask.
This is my question, Glenn. Here's my question. Last October, I called your office after these things had come out, one right after another, the misogynistic, the putting down the war hero, the mocking the disabled person. And I said, this is awful. This is while he was still running, but he's continuing to say, I said, this is awful. Has Congress, master people, has Congressman Rogers spoken up about this, taken candidate Trump to task for this? And they said no. And I said, why not? And they didn't have an answer. And I lost respect for you at that time, at a time when I would have gained respect for you if you had spoken out like the Southern gentleman that I think you are. Thank you. So why did you not speak out? That's my question.
Thanks for the question. I look around this room and I know 80% of the people in this room and have known y'all for a long time. I've represented this county in the county government, and the state government, and the federal government for 31 years. And y'all know my demeanor is different than the president's. I am diplomatic and try to be cordial, even with folks who disagree with me. So the president's style is not my style. Everybody in this room knows that. And I was shocked by some of the things that came out in the campaign, just like some people here were. But I have to admit, he resonated with people. He connected in a way that not many people in our country's history have connected with the population. I can't explain it, Ruth, but he has. And let me give you some insight into my district. The man got 72, 73% of the vote in my congressional district. His numbers are closer to 80 now. And you say, how is that possible? How do you know that? I see the Senate campaign polls right now. You see these Senate candidates all running about who can be the closest to Trump and help advance his agenda. He's connected with people. So who am I to tell him how to communicate when he's made a connection in such an effective way? Maybe he's figured out something I don't know. It's still not my style. You won't see me adopt that style. But I'm not going to correct him when it can get him elected president and can get him that kind of popularity. If you've seen national polls, The people that voted for him last November have said they would vote for him again. So, you know, it's unorthodox, it's not my style, but I'm not gonna be the guy to tell him it doesn't work when he got elected president and get his agenda moved. What else?
Where are our morals going if we have to elect people on that basis? Congressman, my question is, around 2007, 2008, the American economy suffered a financial meltdown due to a number of business practices, many having to do with fraudulent financial transactions in the banking and housing industries. The government subsequently implemented financial rules to prevent another such occurrence. Knowing that, did you vote in favor of banks and other financial institutions by voting to dilute the powers of the Consumer Financial Protection Program? Did you vote to dilute their powers?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Happy to. First, let me back up. To get to Rufus's point a few minutes ago about being bigger on issues, I would take you back to the period of time when we were in that financial crisis, and we were scared to death as a nation. And if you weren't, you didn't know the facts about how bad it was. And 4 weeks before my name was on the ballot, with at that time the toughest race, in fact still the toughest race I've had since I've been in Congress, I voted with the majority Democrats for TARP 1. I was just skinned up like nobody's business in that election cycle by even my kinfolks. It was awful, but it was the right thing to do. And history will show, it already has shown, TARP 1, that bailout, that some people called it, saved our economy from going into collapse. Now, and by the way, all the money's been paid back with interest. Everything worked out. In fact, we made more money off it than we thought we would. And it's paid back faster. Now, I didn't vote for TARP 2 because it wasn't necessary at the time. But I just want you to know, I'm going to do what's right for the country, even if it's not politically popular. Now, the CFPB, I think, has been a disaster. It does not have the government oversight it needs. It needs to go away.
And why not give it the oversight?
And that may be the result that comes out of this. Keep in mind the legislative process is give and take. We pass a bill to get rid of it. You can bet the Senate is not going to be able to get that passed. It may be that whatever they pass has a regulatory structure. But the other part of that bill that we voted that got rid of the CFPB rolled back a lot of the Dodd-Frank regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I fully support the Dodd-Frank regulations on Wall Street banks, the big banks, but our community banks didn't cause a financial collapse. Our regional banks didn't cause it. And they have unreasonable constraints put on them now that are choking off capital from small business people. And small businesses are the source of 80% of jobs in this country. So I would like to see Dodd-Frank rolled back some. I don't want it eliminated. I would like to see the CFPB, if not eliminated, given some government oversight. It has none right now. That's dangerous. But thank you for the question.
Let's, two more people in the back. What about a lady in the red blouse back there, followed by the gentleman right here on the aisle with the cap? You can follow after she goes. We're going to try to get as many people in as we can today.
Hi, Representative
Hello.
Rogers. I'm from Melbourne, and I've benefited greatly from that Dodd-Frank because it saved my house. But the big bank was nice enough to try to take 3 times in 10 years, even though I was making my payments. So if they did that to me and I had a job, what did they do to other people who didn't have a job? They took their houses. They caused the housing collapse.
They sure did.
So Dodd-Frank is a really good thing. But I agree with you about the small banks. So if I remember correctly, you voted yes just recently about backing back on Dodd-Frank.
Correct. I want it rolled back off our community and regional banks. So we have to advance legislation to get us to conference committee. The Senate is never going to go along with that. Keep in mind Elizabeth Warren is over there. And a lot of people who feel just as strongly about it. Well, she's very conversant in the subject. But we don't have 60 votes over there. So the idea that the House bill is ever going to become law is laughable, but it's negotiating. Just like when you want to sell, you ask high, and you try to negotiate down, because that's the way we do things around here. I want to see Dodd-Frank roll back on our regional and community banks. I want it to remain just where it is on our big Wall Street banks. I sure do, and that's who was doing that to you. It wasn't our regional banks.
Excuse me, Congressman, did you have a question that you would like to
I
ask?
asked you if you voted on
Yeah, not to.
You've already,
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Gentleman back here.
Congressman, Trent Solomon, I live in Oxford for the last 15 years, retired twice from the depot. And I'm going to do a long street. I want to thank you for keeping the depot open. It couldn't have been easy under Speaker Ponder with the tank plant up in Ohio. That said, with the President's plan on rebuilding the military, is there any chance that the follow-on of the modernization armored family that was canceled and killed by the last regime, is that any chance of that coming back? Second question is, do you support the president's ban on, I guess transgender
Shame.
personnel in the military? And I guess you answered my question, my third question, with saying healthcare is wrong, because I was wondering about the, I think it's $100 million a year being taken from Medicare in order to prop up Medicaid. I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
Well,
And
there's
even
been a lot of
Medicare,
There's been a lot of talk about it. It didn't do any good. but-
use of a bad heart, I'm really interested. If that continues to this day, I think it was gonna be 1 trillion, wasn't it, total?
Yeah.
And nobody says 1 trillion from Medicaid that was
Over 10
built
years.
up under the TEFRA in '86 to last through the baby boom bubble before it went broke in 2037. Now that go broke date is pushed back to 2026 because of Social Security disability being pumped up to the max for the last 3 regimes. True. And I don't know what it did this, $100 million a year in order to prop up Medicaid. Is there any chance that may be revisited? Thank you.
That's three good questions,
Yeah,
sorry.
on the third question, no, I don't think so. Again, I think healthcare debates did for this year. Going to your first question on the depot, I think the future is bright for the depot. We have, over the last several years, seen our defense infrastructure not depleted, but degraded. It's been allowed to not receive the maintenance it should be receiving, or the new replacement equipment that we need to replace aging equipment, whether it's ships, fighter jets, or whatever. This budget that we just passed, or that we authorized in the House Armed Services Committee, and will be in the budget proposal when we come back next week, we've been assured of that, is going to substantially increase defense spending, about $30 billion a year, I think $34 billion a year. That is a great first step. It's not what we wanted. It's $9 billion short of what the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee wanted. But it is a dramatic improvement over what we've been getting and what this president proposed. So that's going to help us begin to deal with the modernization issues that we need on our equipment, as well as the maintenance issues. The depot's future is good right now in that they're in a hiring mode. And I was able to get legislation in this year's NDAA that's going to allow them to more easily take temp workers and make them permanent without having to go through a long and bureaucratic process, as well as to make sure that those depot workers who are sent overseas to support deployed troops continue to receive their enhanced pay. We also are very hopeful and optimistic about getting new AMP-V vehicles and their maintenance at our depot. That will be replacing the M113 vehicles that we've been maintaining for a long time. I talked with General Perna last week at the depot conference, week before last, at the depot conference breakfast. That decision should be made next year. But there's been a lot of good things happening out there. We've got 6 multi-million-dollar construction projects that have just been completed.